Today, I hope you're doing fine. We're gonna start by asking her your name, and if you please can also tell us where you're from.
Okay. My name is Susie Ketch, and I grew up in San Antonio and moved to Arlington in 2001 and have lived here ever since.
Okay, good. Thank you. Miss Ketch, what subject do you teach?
I teach all subjects, and I teach all subjects. So math, reading, science.
Okay, well, those are a lot of subjects. Okay, and well, in the first year of teaching, I have heard, that it's really hard for the first teachers, the first year. Why is that? Can you tell us why?
Well, you're just out of college, and you're not only learning a new job, which every profession has, but you are also learning the paperwork of that job,
Right.
which every profession has.
Right.
Lesson plans, any paperwork that you have to turn in for testing or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But you're also learning your students, and you're learning how to manage the different behaviors and group of kids that happen to be in your room that year. And you're also managing your interaction with your team,
Right.
and your building and your principal, and all of this is new.
Mhm.
So because of that, you just have a lot on your plate all at once.
Right.
Once you get that first year under your belt, you're kind of able to balance things out a little bit more. You know what to expect, that kind of thing. So it becomes a little bit easier, but it's still a lot of work.
Yes. Does it get better? I mean, easier by the years, you think?
I don't know if I would say it gets easier. It gets different.
Okay.
Is probably the best way I know how to describe it. Because the paperwork is constantly changing. The testing is constantly changing to meet the needs of our kids, and to be modified so that our kids are getting what they need. So you're constantly having to adapt and learn how to do it the new way. But the lessons, the curriculum, that kind of thing, even if it is adapted, if you're teaching 2 + 2, it's still teaching 2 + 2.
Right.
You just might be doing it on a smartboard instead of on paper and pencil.
Okay. Now, can you tell us, Ms. Ketch, why do you choose to be a special needs teacher and not an attorney or a doctor or anything else?
Well, I told my mom when I was 4 that I wanted to be a teacher. And like most moms, she was like, okay, dear, expecting it to change multiple times. And it didn't. I grew up and had the opportunity to babysit a special needs child, and knew that that's what I wanted to do with the rest of my life. And so, I've just always loved teaching and sharing knowledge with people and helping them become better.
That's awesome. Thank you. Can you please tell us what are 3 things that you like, the most about your job?
That's easy. Nothing is ever the same. I have my lesson plan, and I know what we're going to do that day, and I walk in the door, and everything happens based on how my kids come in the door in the morning. If my kids are really into an activity and really learning and making progress, then I don't stop the lesson. We just keep going because they're excited about it. If I find that my children are really struggling and need a little bit more help, then I will have no problem going, okay, let's take a step back, let's relook at this, let's get back to something you know and are familiar with, and then we'll build in slower increments from there. So that is probably my first one. The second one is my students. Like, I love my kids.
Yeah.
They bring something new to the table every day.
Right.
And for the most part, they love being in school. They love being here. They love the structure. They love the activities that we're doing. And so it's just really fun to interact with them and to watch the progress that they make from the beginning of the year to the end of the year. And the third thing would probably be the community of coworkers that I have.
That's very important, right?
Yes.
To have support from the principal and
Yes.
other teachers.
I'm really blessed to be at a school where I do feel appreciated. I do feel supported.
That's good.
Not just by the administration, but also by other teachers in the building. If they see that I'm working with a student who is struggling, I can't tell you how many times other teachers have stopped and been like, do you need help? Are you okay? What do you need? Just to make sure that we're okay before they just continue walking on. So I'm just really blessed to be in an environment where we're loved and taken care of.
That's really good. Now let's go to the opposite side. Can you tell us, 3 or more things that are the challenge part of your job?
Yeah, the first one I'm going to say is paperwork.
Yes.
There's a lot of that that happens in our program. And there are other jobs that have lots of paperwork as well. But, that's one of the things that is probably the biggest struggle for teachers. The other one would probably be the behaviors that sometimes happen in my classroom. I really love my kids, and those kids that have those behaviors that just kind of don't fit anywhere else are the ones that I kind of gravitate toward because they're just so interesting to figure out, okay, why are you doing that? But it's also very challenging because most of my students have communication issues. So trying to figure out why that behavior is happening and get to the root of it is sometimes pretty difficult. So that would probably be number 2. And then number 3 would be
lesson plans, maybe?
Well, lesson plans are, once you get a routine down for what lesson plans look like, that's not really one of the difficulties that I have, but like watching others interact with my classroom, other students. Again, I'm blessed with a building where we are loved and supported, but we do a lot of community-based interactions, and we do have people who come in and out of our lives just in school or because we're on a community-based training setting or something like that. And watching them interact with my kids and watching and seeing them look at my kids differently because they're special, probably for me is a difficulty.
It's hard, yes.
Because they don't necessarily see anything more than the disability.
Right, the outside sometimes.
Yes.
Right.
And there's so much that my kids have to offer and to provide, and so I would like everyone to see that.
Of course, yes. As a mother of a special needs child, I know what you're saying, because it's hard sometimes that other people are looking at you and looking at the kids and not really understanding what we really understand and why they're acting like that. And but thank you. Now, could you please tell us one or more funny stories about your job?
Yes. So I have a student who was working on identifying the countries around the world. And he had just learned the country Turkey and where to find it on a map. And so he was showing that skill to another adult in my room. And he pointed to Turkey among the other countries that he was pointing to. And the adult looked at him and went like, the turkey I eat at Thanksgiving? And he turned to her and put his hands on his hips and was like, no, the turkey you live in.
Oh, wow. Really?
And so that just came out of him without him having to even think about it. It just happened.
Yeah.
And so I love moments like that.
Yes, of course.
And the other moment that I can think of right now would be, it would be one of those aha moments that your kids get. And so I've been working really hard with one of my students to learn his sight words, some of the kindergarten sight words that he was struggling with. And we were doing flashcards, and we'd done it on the board, and we'd written it in sand outside on the playground, and we had done all of these things in shaving cream, all of this to try to help him remember these sight words, and he just was really struggling with it. And so I really encouraged him and told him that we were going to just, we were going to work on it. It's going to be fine. And after a couple more weeks of going over it, he finally got the words.
Oh.
And the excitement and the joy and the just, hey, I got this, that he had
all excited.
was probably one of the biggest highlights of my job, because not only was he so excited that he could read them to me, but then he had to go read them to my teammate next door. He had to run down to the first grade hallway and find a first grade teacher to read them to, and find another first grader to read them to, and that kind of thing. And so that excitement just kind of helped him to continue working on more words later.
Oh, that's awesome. Those are really good stories. Thank you, Ms. Ketch. Now, let's go and see if you can tell us about how much is the average paid as a teacher here in Texas?
Well, it depends on years of service. And a starting teacher is going to make about $32,000.
Okay.
And then it goes up from there.
Okay.
And if you have your master's or you have your doctorate, then there's also
right.
obviously a pay increase as well. So it just kind of depends on where you are on the pay scale.
Right. I have also heard that it depends on if it is a public school or charter school.
Yes.
Yes. You know, sometimes it's a little bit less on the charter schools or private schools than public schools.
Yes.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
Right. Finally, whenever teachers have vacation.
Right.
What do you really enjoy doing during that time?
Well, when I'm not planning for the next year.
Right.
I really enjoy reading.
Okay.
I also quilt, so I enjoy quilting.
Oh, good. Okay.
But most of the time I enjoy traveling. I've had the
Okay.
opportunity to go to France and Germany and Switzerland, Costa Rica with my sister, those kinds of things. Been to Beijing.
Wow.
So just being able to go and meet other people
Right,
and interact with them and see different parts of the world and different ways that people do things and live life and that kind of thing, just really helped me not only see things from a different perspective, but also gain knowledge that I can then bring back into the classroom. And then I'm also very active in my church.
Okay.
So being able to go there and know that I'm not having to worry about school.
Right. That
is
really
kind of
helps.
nice. Yeah. Yeah.
You can stay a little bit late, you know,
Yes.
chatting with your friends and
Yes.
stuff like that.
Yes.
So, okay. And this is actually our last question. When your students look back at you, what would you like them to remember you by?
Okay. Well, the biggest thing is how I made them feel.
Okay.
A lot of the children that come into my room might not have a safe environment that they live in. They might not have enough food to eat. And so I want them to know that when they're here, they're going to be fed, they're going to be taken care of, they're loved, they're safe. And so realistically, like what I really want them to feel is just that sense of family and that sense of safety and security, and that they're cared for. They're gonna get the academics as much as they can,
Right.
and that's gonna help them in life, and I want them to have that
Right,
as well. So
right.
that's the main focus of my curriculum. But to be able to let them know that no matter what they do, no matter how their day went, when they come in the next day, they have a big old smile. I'm gonna have a big old smile on my face because I'm
Right.
excited that they're here.
Right.
And so I want them to feel that. And so when they do go away and are older and maybe come back and visit, or I see them somewhere in the community, that's what I want them to remember when they see me.
Yes, that will be awesome, really.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for this opportunity you're giving me, Ketch. I hope that you enjoyed this interview, and well, we'll probably see you another time. Okay, and thank you guys for watching us. I hope that you liked the video, and if you haven't subscribed, to please do so. Okay, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.